Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about Dominican Republic Weekly, episode number 29 Taxation Reform in the Dominican Republic. What does that mean to you? A whole lot across the board, whether it's your groceries, whether it's real estate, whether it's your investments. You need to know about this, and there's so much more that's coming down the pike. I'm your host, Eric Bird, and welcome. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so much for being here. And please share the videos because there's a lot going on in the social media world and people need to know what's going on. Many people could be affected if you are investing in the Dominican Republic, if you are a Dominican, if you are planning on expatting to Dominican Republic, if you're coming for tourism, if you want to start a business there. So much can influence what we're about to see, but we're going to start here first at the Stop Struggling Now YouTube channel page. Why do I want to stop here? Is because on the right hand side, courtesy of YouTube, they show a few of our members that have joined the channel, not subscribers, but joined the channel as memberships. And I want to thank them so much. Under the community tab, these members receive special messages. Also under the community tab, they receive a link so they can get into any live stream and join me on screen if they prefer. On Wednesday night, they're the only ones that can be in the chat room. And they receive special videos during the month as well. Now, let's get some more information. I've been promoting. I've been doing live streams also on Instagram, coinciding with our other platforms. But here's what I want to show you. We went up to 919 followers last week, and it dropped back down to 917. So this is why I keep telling everybody on the live streams, come over here to Instagram, show your love, because then we have special messages besides what's happening on certain other platforms. Don't forget, down below at the bottom of the description box, you will see our social media platforms that you can sign up with. But all you have to do is go to Instagram and put in Stop Struggling Now. And also, if you want some merchandise like what I'm wearing, well, you can see right here. Go to stopstrugglingnow.com and go to get the merchandise. All right, that would be appreciated. Let's get into it. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, tourism. Let's talk about where the dollars come from in the Dominican Republic in this episode number 29 for the Dominican Republic Weekly. Tourism sector contributes 3 out of every $10 of the Dominican Republic's foreign exchange earnings. That is very, very interesting number. 30%, or shall we say 33.33%. That comes from tourism for the exchange. That is very important. That's a significant portion that's coming into the into the Dominican Republic. So I want to point out here, highlighting that in 2022, the taxes generated by tourism totaled more than 155 billion pesos, Dominican pesos. All right, just to give you guys an idea. So when we start talking about tax reform, what does that mean if you collected that type of tax 2 years ago? But here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is what Juan Ariel, who's a professor at Harvard from the Dominican Republic, he's sitting there saying tax reform will cost the population between 10% and 20% of their income. Dominican Republic is already, as far as the island itself, if you just take the island, and the annual wages for the island is already pretty low. And so now they're going to be possibly taking anywhere from 10 to 20% or more, because there's always an effect. There's a cause and effect when you sit there and try to add additional taxes. Just so you know, here it is. This is what he's concerned about. We're going to talk about it. In addition, thousands of families who today do not pay the real estate property tax, IPI, will have to start doing so, dispersing up to 48,353 pesos a year. Additionally, for each vehicle in the home between 1,500 and 3,000 pesos, additional tag costs will be paid. So, a household with two vehicles will have to pay up to 6,000 pesos per year more in taxes. This is just for starters, ladies and gentlemen. They're coming after everybody. This isn't just for gringos. This isn't just for the tourists. They're coming for the Dominican Republic citizens. If you're making more money, well, guess where some of that money's going to have to go back to? So you're making an extra $100, $150, $200, $500, $1,000 annually. Guess what? There's going to be some clawback because you're going to have to be paying more in taxes for things you may not have had to pay taxes for before. Here's the other thing that's happening right now. If we consider that a middle class family earns around 56,000 pesos a month, we are talking about a reduction of up to 15% of their purchasing power. Woo! All right. I'm saying 15% is significant. The professor pointed out that the increase in ITBIS could be avoided by reducing unnecessary public payroll and losses in the electricity sector, reducing the cost of government advertising, and eliminating parties and government events, thus saving more than 205 million pesos a year. See what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen? But what does this have to do with you? Well, this is what it has to do with you. Restaurant owners foresee cost increases with the tax reform proposals. This hasn't went through yet, ladies and gentlemen, but this is all the tax reform that they're talking about. This is going to be significant, unbelievable. And so here we are. I'll have links down below to all of these articles in the description box so you can come read them yourself, so you can understand what's going on while we're looking at, or looky over here, we're going to be deporting 10,000 Haitians per week. But looky here underneath the hood where you can't see, we're going to pass some laws and you're going to be paying more taxes. Got you scared. That's the tactics they use in all countries that are capitalist societies. Right now in the United States, we have that same type of rhetoric going on while they're stripping us of our voter rights, civil rights, and human rights. So let's get into it in Dominican Republic. Again, the Dominican Republic Association highlighted that the tax reform bill presented by the government would increase input costs, which will directly impact the cost structure of its operations. So remember, what you guys don't know and may find out later, when they say we're going to add additional tax for sugary items, we're going to add additional tax for items that may not be organic or fresh, all of that comes back for a restaurant to cost them more money. Now that means there's going to be more tax. That's how it works, ladies and gentlemen, which means you're going to be paying more when you come visit or when you live there and you go out and you're sitting there going, why is this bill like it seems like it's too much. We used to only pay like $10 for a meal and now it's like 18. Why is that over the last 2 years? Now it could be that $10 meal that you were paying like in 2021 and 2020 might be $20 to $25 if this reform bill takes hold as it's presented so far. So this is very, very crazy what they're doing. This will reduce their visits to restaurants, which for many is their routine for lunch from Monday to Friday for work, not a luxury. Again, this is what they know already. They know what people's habits are, and they're going to tax you based on those habits. So this is how a capitalist system works. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you smash that like button so the YouTube gods know that you're here watching this, and share the video so people know. Airbnb in October 8th, 2024 expresses willingness to pay taxes in the Dominican Republic. They always do, because what's the alternative? If Airbnb says we're not going to pay taxes, then that means the country, city, state, province is going to sit there and say, well, then we won't allow you to operate in our jurisdiction. So Airbnb has learned over the last 5 to 6 years, you can't fight the government when they can tax you. So therefore, they're going, we express willingness. Why do they express willingness? Because if I have 5,000 units for rent in the Dominican Republic, and we're making, let's just say, $100 per reservation made per day, and you can get a few thousand done per day, you guys can start realizing a couple of hundred, $200,000, $300,000 per day starts adding up. So of course they're going to say we're going to do the tax. Why are they going to say that? You guys are smart here. You're in the SSN Nation. You know what time it is. Why? Because they are going to pass on that tax to the consumer. So instead of it just being what it is right now, no Airbnb tax, but what you have is housekeeping normally. Then you have the Airbnb service fee for your reservation. So all that's going to happen is if they make the tax 10%, then all they're going to do is just add it when a person reserves their reservation through Airbnb. Thus, once again, all the people that are buying pre-construction projects in the Dominican Republic, now you understand why I said you can't overpay for real estate, regardless of what it looks like, regardless of where it is, because once you do that, years later, if they decide to pull a rabbit out of their behinds and say, hey, tax is going to be 20%, and you're going to be taxed on your profits as well, you're going to find yourself having to pay to have this thing, because when you have a taxation on top of already being taxed for having the property itself and earning income, then you're going to start throwing on other taxes. So therefore, it's going to cost more for the consumer. So in essence, you could also have less reservations throughout the year. Your occupancy rate could drop dramatically. Then you have to charge more, but not used necessarily. It could just be because Airbnb is now charging Dominican Republic is now charging a tax that Airbnb has to put out for who's ever reserving reservations. So therefore, that is the problem. So if I buy something and I'm doing $200 per night, a person on the other end is looking at $200 is what I'm charging. Then they see $45 for housekeeping fee. Then they see the Airbnb adding on at the end the extra 120, 130 bucks. So now all of a sudden that 200, and we'll call it 7 nights, is 1,800. Sorry, 200 times 7 is 1,400. Then you're adding on like 130. Well, that actually it's going to be more than that. It's going to be like 150 just for the Airbnb service fee. And then you're going to add on $45 housekeeping for most people. And then imagine if they came and said, guess what? We want another 20%. So now the person says that's $1,700, $1,800 for the week. That's much different than just $200 per night that they see on Airbnb, right? After they include taxes, fees, and Airbnb service fee, and then whoever knows what else, because people are doing crazy stuff. But I want you guys to understand, make no mistake about it, this is pretty serious for Airbnb owners, short-term rental owners, and it's not just going to be Airbnb, it's going to be other people as well. The good news, 30 power generation projects in the country are going on. Fair enough. But they're not done yet. And what they're doing is they're using thermal energy and renewable sources from wind and thermal energy is what they're using. They're not building what should be built, along with, he announced 450 million US will be invested in electricity transmission in the coming years. This is a delay. Coming years, they're adding tens of thousands of real estate properties on the island every year. Next year, they're going to be adding over, I don't even know, I haven't even counted. They could be adding like 5,000 hotel rooms to the island, let alone another 100 to 1,000 units per major city alone. Never mind what's up at Jarabacoa up in the mountains. That could be another 500 units that's been built out there. This could be, what do you mean years? This should already have been handled. You need to handle a separate system where people can say, okay, let me have that solar system. I don't need SEPN in my life for real. If we got sun almost all the damn time and all I can do is do a storage situation, why are they forcing us to do that? But this is what we're going to have to deal with, ladies and gentlemen. If you're an investor there and you have pools and you have hot tubs and you have all this stuff, are you going to have to not run it That's electricity. Electricity is not cheap in the Dominican Republic. So remember all that. I tried to go fast. I tried to make this short. I tried to make it sweet, but there's no way around it. Let me know what you guys are thinking down below. And with that said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, but that's why we have to keep up. Because if you go to sleep, no matter what country you're in, if you're going to sleep right now in the United States, we have an election that's coming up. It's going to be in a few weeks. Hopefully, over the next 3 to 4 weeks, we'll have an election result. And you better be careful, because you need to know who's working for the common man and who's working for the rich people. You need to go do research. You need to be unbiased. You need to say who's actually helping by laws. That's what you need to pay attention to. What are you voting for? Who have you been voting for? What have you been voting to help people? If there's a hurricane and FEMA needs to get funded, what are you doing? Are you there to vote for it? Are you there voting yes for the FEMA funding so our United States citizens can help out? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Is this what people are doing? Are you trying to give people health care? Are you trying to make sure that if they have a job that they're getting livable wages? Is that what you're voting for? This is all the things that American citizens need. Are you voting against border security? You got to go see who's voting against voter security. That's what you need to do. If you're concerned about all these things, then go actually look it up. Don't listen to what somebody tells you, because a lot of people out here are the devil. My speech for the night. Because they'll tell you one thing, meanwhile, when they go push that button to vote for American citizens, they're doing the opposite. You need to find out what these devils are doing. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.